Hi y'all! I want to start by telling you a story. Back when I was married, I've been married for about 3 years, and there became a significant problem in our relationship, and this was it. Both of my husband and I worked outside of the home, and at the end of a long day, we would come home, and I would always say, "Hey, honey, how was your day?" You know, different variations of that. And he would tell me a little bit about his day, and then he would go off and do other stuff, right? Play video games or work out or whatever. But what he wouldn't do is say, "Hey, honey, how was your day?" And every day, for years, that hurt. Ooh, that was painful. And I could only assume he didn't care. He didn't care what I was doing for 10 hours a day. He didn't love me, obviously, right? He didn't ask about my day, therefore he didn't love me. But I'm a pretty patient person, so it took me a while, and after a few years I finally sat him down, and I did what a lot of us do, because a lot of us just are not good communicators. And the sad truth is, I was a communications professor at the college while I was doing stupid communications stuff. It's hard to communicate with people, which then makes it hard to communicate with people. It just builds on itself. So I did something stupid, and I laid a trap for him to fall into because I was so hurt and I wanted him to know it and feel it. And I said, "Hey, I need to ask you something. How would you feel if when you came home from work I didn't ask about your day?" And you know, he was supposed to say, "Oh, that would break my heart. That would be so painful. Oh, that would really hurt." And then I was going to go, "See, told you, that's what you do to me." Well, that's not what happened. I said, "Hey, honey, how would you feel if when you came home from work I didn't ask about your day?" And he said, "I would appreciate that so much." What? What? He said, "I hate it. I hate it." He said, "Every day I come home from a long day of work and you want to know what my day was like, what I did." He said, "I don't want to talk about work, it's work. I don't want to talk about Bob in the office. I want to be home. I want to do my stuff. I want to relax. I want to hang out. I hate it." Oh, okay. So that's an example from real life of how the golden rule, and it's a beautiful rule, and it's a rule in just about every religion, small to big. It's a great rule, but maybe we took it too literally, or it just didn't quite work out. So there is an improvement on the rule, which I will tell you in a second, but there are 2 flaws with the golden rule, and the golden rule is this: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Treat other people the way that you want to be treated. Well, from the story I just told you, you can see one of the flaws, but the other flaw, and I'll get back to that in a second, but the other flaw is this. We kind of live in a world where people don't really like themselves all that much, and they don't love themselves, and so if they're going to treat people the way they treat themselves, that may not work out very well for anybody. So that's part of the problem. But then the other problem is what I showed you in the story that I told you. We don't all want to be treated the same. I used to be a professor of interpersonal communication. Interpersonal communication, that class was teaching people how to treat human beings like individual, complex beings. Recognizing that we're all different. We all have different roles. We all have different personalities and dreams and ideas and behaviors and opinions and beliefs. We're all different, and we have to learn how to treat people that way. And the golden rule doesn't really help us so much in that, unfortunately. So how about now let's try the platinum rule. I didn't invent the platinum rule, and I tried to find out who did, but I can't. If you know, please say in the comments. But the platinum rule is this: do unto others as they would have done unto themselves. Now again, you can take that too literally and end up hurting people, right? If somebody wants to be hurt because they're hurt and that's all they know, don't hurt people. Ultimately, do no harm is a pretty good rule. I mean, it's kind of a basic one. But when it comes to our relationships with other people, the platinum rule can be very helpful because it can remind you to treat people the way they want to be treated. There's a really good book called The 5 Love Languages by Dr. Gary Chapman. And the basic premise behind the book is this. We give and receive love in different ways. We recognize love in different ways. And there sometimes are people in your life who show you love constantly, but you don't recognize love in that particular way. It just doesn't feel like love to you. And then you may be treating people in the most loving way that you can, but they don't feel loved. And that's because you're treating them the way you want to be treated. Okay, the 5 love languages. The basics of the book are this. And we have, it's not just like you have one love language. And your love language can change over time. You'll want to read the book for more information, but the basic is this. The 5 love languages. 1, some people just need quality time. They have to spend as much time with their partner as they can. There are other people who, like for me, example, if you're going to be in a romantic relationship with me, we're going to spend some good quality time together, but we're also going to spend a lot of good quality time apart. But there are other people who they would find that very upsetting. What do you mean you don't want to hang out with me? But it's not because of you, that's just my personality. So sometimes it feels like that person doesn't love me because they don't want to hang out with me. Well, maybe quality time, that's their thing, that's important to them, but it's different for you. And maybe sometimes the way you spend quality time is different. Maybe they think cuddling on the couch with you is quality time and you think that's time wasted. You guys should be out rock climbing or parasailing or something. So even within quality time, it can get complicated. Another one is words of affirmation. Some people are desperate to hear all the nice stuff that you have to say. They need to know not just that you think they're attractive or beautiful or whatever, but that you are proud of them, that you appreciate them. Real quick, about our Creator. What if we step back a little bit from worship and a little bit more towards gratitude and appreciation and thankfulness? Just an idea. Worship, we've gotten out of hand with that. Gratitude, we've lost that. Let's reverse it. But okay, words of affirmation. Some people have to hear that stuff. And they need to hear all layers of it, right? And they want to hear, you're a wonderful mother to our children. Thank you for cleaning the house. Nice ass. They want to hear all of it. Other people, like me, I don't really want to hear that stuff. I don't know why. I don't really need to. I'm just not into words of affirmation. So that wouldn't really do it for me. Another one, number 3, gifts. Okay, now this can be complicated because sometimes you may think, oh, you shouldn't have to buy people's love. That's not what it's about. People for whom gifts are important, and here's a way to know what other people's love languages are. Now, sometimes you should just ask, right? Talk to your spouse, talk to your boyfriend and girlfriend. But if you can't do that, pay attention to what they do for you. Are there people in your life who are always just giving you stuff? Or maybe their love language is gifts. Now also, it's possible they're putting spells on that stuff and giving it to you to mess up your life. I'm going to do a video on that in another time. Forget that. You can just take those spells right off. Doesn't work anymore. Okay, but for some people, they just love to give people gifts. And it could be, I found a pretty rock. Other people don't really like getting gifts. For them, it's like just more stuff they have to clean. So that can cause some problems. Acts of service is the 4th one. That's when people feel loved when you do things for them. If your spouse always gets up on Saturday morning and cleans the bathroom, and that's just what they do, well then you get up on Saturday morning and just clean the bathroom. But here's the thing. Don't act like you deserve a medal now for having done it. That kind of takes away from it. And also, just do it without being asked. Don't make a big deal. If you're going to do acts of service for people, just do them. They'll know why you did it. And then the 5th one is physical touch. Okay, it's not just sex. A lot of people get confused. Physical touch, for people for whom this is important, they're very touchy-feely. They like the hugs and the hand-holding and the caressing and the hair patting and all of that stuff. It's very important that it not always be, if you're in a romantic relationship, that physical touch not always lead to sexual overtures, right? Sometimes a back rub should just be a back rub. It can get frustrating if every time your partner says, hey honey, you want a back rub? 10 minutes later they're feeling your boobs or something. Just give your partner a back rub for once. That's nice. Especially if physical touch is one of the ways that they really feel love. There's so much more to say about these. I didn't write the book, and fortunately, somebody did. His name is Gary Chapman, The 5 Love Languages. And he's also written books about how do you give and receive love with children. Your children have very different love languages. Some of your children want to sit there and work on a bike and repair the bike while they talk to you about their problems. And other kids want to sit on the couch right next to you and look in your eyes and tell you about their problems. And if you do the same thing for both kids, one of those kids is probably not going to recognize your brand of love. Love's complicated because people are complicated. But we can do this. We can have beautiful, amazing, loving relationships in our homes, and we can have beautiful, loving, amazing relationships with all the people out there, no matter where they're from. Because in this moment in time, we are all human beings on this planet together. And the only way to do it is to love each other. There are no other options. So let's learn how to do that. This will be, I guess, the first in a series of videos that I'm going to share with you based on my teachings as a professor of interpersonal communication. I want to talk to you about your relationships. I want to talk to you about your self-esteem. I want to talk to you about your perception of the world. I want to talk to you about the words that you use and language. I want to talk to you about a lot of stuff. So I'm going to make some more videos for you. I love you all. I think I'm done for today, though. Bye, guys. And yeah, that is painter's tape, if anyone's wondering. All of a sudden, I'm allergic to Band-Aids and alcohol and other stuff. Life's weird. Gotta love it. Bye, guys.